The unexpected assignment. Leo tugged at his tie, the silk suddenly feeling like a noose. 5 adjustments in as many minutes. Davison's terse email still stung, my office. 3 p.m. Sharp. His thoughts spiraled, every forgotten squat, each unauthorized blast of cheesy 80s rock in the weight room. The mahogany door, a barrier to judgment, seemed to swell before him. He rapped lightly, the sound swallowed by the weighty silence. Enter. Davison's voice, sharp as shattered glass, sliced through the air. He walked in. The room was a study in austere geometry and subdued shades, a far cry from the vibrant chaos of the gym below. Davison sat ramrod straight behind a desk that resembled a fortress, papers her ramparts. Her cool appraisal felt like being scrutinized under a microscope. Maxwell, she began, dispensing with any preamble. I require assistance. Leo's throat tightened. Assistance from Davison usually meant biohazard cleanup after an intense Zumba session. My mother, she continued, her tone softening a fraction, Rose. Nana Rose, isn't thriving. Age has taken its toll. The doctors suggest light exercise. Leo frowned, trying to grasp the connection. Right, I want you to train her. At her residence. His jaw went slack. Me? I'm a gym rat. I don't do private sessions. Davison tented her fingers, regarding him. Consider this a specialized assignment. Fully compensated, naturally. This is imperative, Maxwell. My mother, she is everything. But she's intractable. She dismisses my concerns. Perhaps she'll heed it, professional. A momentary chink in her armor, so brief he nearly missed it. He glanced around the room, at the art, the furnishings, the aura of unyielding control. He pictured Nana Rose, vulnerable and in need. The face of his own grandmother, long gone, flashed in his mind. Okay, he murmured, the sound barely audible. Davison's face remained impassive, but a subtle rigidity seemed to melt from her posture. Excellent. Nana Rose resides at 42, Maple Drive. Begin tomorrow at 10:00 hours. Punctuality is non-negotiable. A pause, then her gaze hardened. And Maxwell? This remains confidential. Understood. He nodded, a strange cocktail of trepidation and dawning curiosity bubbling inside. He was about to venture into uncharted territory, a realm presided over by a woman who demanded absolute compliance. Flowers and laughter. Leo swallowed, adjusting the strap of his gym bag as he approached Nana Rose's house. It wasn't what he expected. Picturesque, perhaps, was the word. A riot of climbing roses framed the doorway, their fragrance thick in the air. Potted geraniums lined the porch railing, splashes of vibrant red against the weathered wood. He knocked hesitantly. The door swung open, revealing Nana Rose beaming at him. Leo. Come in, come in. Don't just stand there wilting like a neglected daisy. He stepped inside, overwhelmed. The air was thick with the scent of potpourri and something baking. Every surface seemed to hold a knick-knack, a photograph, or another flower arrangement. Wow, was all he could manage. Make yourself comfortable, dear. I just need to put the kettle on. Lemon verbena tea today, if that suits. That's fine, thank you, Leo mumbled, setting down his bag. He pulled out the workout plan his boss, Mrs. Miller, had dictated. 20 minutes of cardio, followed by lightweight training. He cleared his throat. So, Mrs. Miller, Nana Rose, please. We're practically family now, aren't we? She winked, bustling around the kitchen. And skip the Mrs. Miller. That's my daughter, the Dragon Lady. Leo blushed. Right, Nana Rose. I brought a workout plan. He held it out, feeling foolish. Nana Rose glanced at the paper, then waved a hand dismissively. Oh, bother with that. Tell you what, dear, let's start with a walk in the garden. I need to deadhead the lilies, and you can tell me all about yourself. He hesitated, then sighed inwardly. He wasn't getting paid for this, after all. Okay, he said, following her out onto the back porch. The garden was even more enchanting than the front. Hummingbirds darted among the honeysuckle, and butterflies danced above the lavender bushes. As they strolled, Nana Rose peppered him with questions. Where did he grow up? What were his dreams? Did he have a girlfriend? He answered shyly, stammering a little at the last question. Nana Rose listened intently, her eyes twinkling with amusement and genuine interest. He learned about her too, about her late husband, a carpenter who built her a gazebo in that very garden, and about her daughter, the workaholic with a secret sweet tooth. She recounted stories of her childhood, filled with mischievous adventures and heartfelt lessons. Suspicious minds. Eleanor stared at the digital schedule on her tablet, the cool glass biting into her fingertips. Leo's appointments with Rose blazed a stark white against the muted gray background. 3 hours. 3 hours every other day. It had started at 1, then crept to 2, and now, 3. Suspicion, a cold knot, tightened in her stomach. It wasn't the length of the sessions alone, it was the way Leo's face had been flushed lately, a light dusting of pink that she hadn't seen before. Later that afternoon, she found Leo meticulously wiping down a weight machine, his brow furrowed in concentration. Leo, she called, her voice sharper than intended. He jumped, nearly dropping the towel. Mrs. Davison. Is there anything I can help you with? Rose's training. How is it progressing? Eleanor crossed her arms, adopting her most businesslike demeanor. Leo stammered. It's going well. She's very dedicated, surprisingly so, actually. She's making excellent progress. Excellent progress doing what, exactly? Eleanor pressed, her gaze unwavering. Pilates for octogenarians doesn't usually require 3-hour sessions. Leo's blush deepened. We're incorporating more advanced techniques. Balance work, some light strength training. She's enjoying it immensely. Eleanor didn't believe him. Not for a second. Later, finding Marcus, a fellow instructor, stretching by the water cooler, Eleanor casually brought up the subject. Leo's been spending a lot of time with my mother lately. Fitness training, of course. She let the words hang in the air, watching Marcus's reaction. Marcus shrugged. Good for her. Leo's a good kid. Patient. Probably gives her the attention she needs. Perhaps, Eleanor said, her voice tight. Or perhaps, he's getting something else out of it. She didn't elaborate, but the implication hung heavy between them. Marcus, oblivious or pretending to be, simply chuckled and went back to his stretches. Eleanor, however, couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Something was definitely amiss. A shared loneliness. All right, Leo, let's reach for the sky, like we're trying to pluck a star right out of the daytime, Nana Rose instructed, her voice a cheerful rasp. Leo mirrored her movements, stretching his arms overhead, feeling the familiar ache in his shoulders. The morning sun streamed through the living room window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. He focused on breathing, on the gentle pull in his muscles, trying to ignore the nervous flutter in his stomach. They held the stretch in silence for a beat too long, and Leo started to lower his arms, but Nana Rose stopped him. You know, your arms remind me of Arthur's, she said, a wistful smile playing on her lips. He used to stretch just like that before a baseball game. Said it kept him limber. Leo lowered his arms, a question hanging in his eyes. Arthur. He hadn't heard her mention her husband's name in weeks. Arthur, she repeated, her voice softer now. We were married for 52 years. 52 years of laughter, arguments, and everything in between. It's quiet now. Too quiet. She looked out the window, her gaze distant. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself all day. The silence just echoes. Leo felt a pang of sympathy. He knew what it was like to be alone, even in a crowded room. I understand, he stammered, surprised by the sincerity in his own voice. It can be hard. Nana Rose turned back to him, her eyes filled with a sudden vulnerability. It is hard, Leo. It's like, half of me is missing. And I don't know how to find it again. He swallowed, searching for the right words. Maybe you don't have to find it. Maybe you can create something new. Something different. He hated how clumsy his words sounded, but Nana Rose seemed to appreciate the effort. A small smile touched her lips. Maybe you're right, Leo. Maybe you're right. She straightened her back, a spark of her usual energy returning. Now, enough moping. Let's try those leg lifts again. And this time, try to keep a straight face, young man. Caught in the act. The tires crunched on the gravel driveway, the sound sharp and aggressive, like Eleanor's mood. She hadn't called ahead. The impulse had seized her somewhere between the office and the florist, a sudden, gnawing worry that bloomed into full-blown suspicion. She killed the engine and sat for a moment, the silence pressing in on her. The cheerful yellow house, usually so welcoming, now felt like a fortress concealing secrets. Then she saw them. Through the living room window, bathed in the afternoon sun, Nana Rose and Leo were embracing. A simple hug, maybe, but Eleanor saw more. Saw the easy way Leo's hand rested on her mother's back, saw the genuine smile on Nana Rose's face, a smile Eleanor hadn't seen in months. A knot tightened in her stomach, twisting with anger and a surprising pang of something akin to jealousy. She swung open the car door, the slam echoing in the quiet street. The front door wasn't locked. Eleanor pushed it open, the force sending it crashing against the wall. Mother? Her voice was sharp, laced with accusation. Leo and Nana Rose sprang apart as if burned. Leo's face flushed crimson, his eyes wide with panic. Nana Rose, though startled, recovered quickly, a flicker of annoyance crossing her features. The air hung thick with the scent of peppermint tea and, was that muscle rub? Eleanor. What a surprise. Nana Rose's voice was carefully neutral. We were just finishing up Leo's visit. A visit that apparently involves intimate embraces. Eleanor's gaze flicked between them, cold and assessing. She noted the slightly disheveled state of Nana Rose's hair, the faint sheen of sweat on Leo's brow. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat of confirmation. Leo stammered, Mrs. Davison, it's not what you think. We were just. Eleanor cut him off with a wave of her hand. Save it, Leo. I think I see perfectly well what's going on. Accusations and defenses. The clatter of china against china ceased abruptly. Mrs. Davison stood in the doorway of the living room, arms crossed, her face a glacial mask. Mr. Maxwell, she said, her voice sharp enough to shatter glass, a word, if you please. Leo swallowed, his throat suddenly dry. Nana Rose, mid-sentence about a particularly disastrous dating escapade in the 70s, stopped, her eyes darting between her daughter and Leo. Mrs. Davison gestured towards the hallway. Leo followed, his heart hammering against his ribs. I've been observing you, Mr. Maxwell, she began, her voice low and dangerous. And I must say, I am deeply disappointed. These lessons are not some social hour. They are a professional service I am paying for. Your lax approach is unacceptable. Mrs. Davison, I assure you. Leo started, but she cut him off. Are you even qualified for this? She snapped. I'm beginning to think this whole arrangement was a mistake. My mother's health is not something to be taken lightly. If I thought for a moment you weren't taking this seriously, I'd terminate your employment immediately. Tears welled in Nana Rose's eyes. Eleanor. That's enough, she called, her voice trembling. She pushed herself up from the sofa, her small frame radiating surprising strength. She hobbled towards them, her cane tapping a staccato rhythm against the hardwood floor. "Rose, please." Mrs. Davison began, her voice softening, but her mother held up a hand. "No, Eleanor. You will listen to me. Leo is a godsend. He's not just giving me exercise lessons, he's giving me back my life. He listens to my stories, he makes me laugh, he treats me with respect and kindness, something you haven't done in years." She turned to Leo, her eyes filled with warmth. "Don't you dare let her bully you, dear. You're doing a wonderful job. The best job." Mrs. Davison's face crumpled, her carefully constructed facade cracking. "Mama, I only want what's best for you," she whispered, her voice thick with unshed tears. Nana Rose reached out and took her daughter's hand. "I know you do, darling. But sometimes, what's best isn't what you expect. Now, apologize to this young man." A confession of friendship. Mrs. Davison's office smelled faintly of lilies and expensive leather. Leo fidgeted with the hem of his borrowed polo shirt, the silence stretching taut. He'd rehearsed what he wanted to say a dozen times, but the words seemed to evaporate under her steely gaze. "Well," she finally prompted, her voice like polished granite. He swallowed hard. "Mrs. Davison, I wanted to say thank you. For letting me train your mother." She raised a skeptical eyebrow. "Is that all? I assumed you had something more profound to share." After Nana Rose's enthusiastic encouragement, Leo's cheeks flushed. He'd been cornered. Nana Rose had practically shoved him out the door, whispering, "Tell her, Leo. She needs to hear it." He took a shaky breath. "It's not just a job, Mrs. Davison. I enjoy spending time with your mother. She tells amazing stories, and she actually listens to me." He hadn't meant for that last part to slip out, but the words hung in the air, vulnerable and raw. Mrs. Davison's expression softened, a flicker of something akin to surprise crossing her face. The granite began to crack. "She listens?" He nodded, avoiding her eyes. "Yes. And she makes me laugh. I value her friendship, Mrs. Davison." He braced himself for a scathing retort, for her to tear down his sincerity with a single, cutting remark. Instead, she remained silent, her gaze fixed on a point somewhere beyond his shoulder. The air in the office felt thinner, the tension slowly bleeding away like a deflating balloon. He could hear the faint hum of the air conditioning, the rhythmic tick of a grandfather clock in the hall. Finally, she spoke, her voice softer than he'd ever heard it. "Friendship. I hadn't considered that." She looked at him then, really looked at him, and for the first time, Leo saw past the formidable businesswoman, past the demanding boss, and glimpsed a hint of the lonely daughter beneath. Softening hearts. Eleanor watched Leo help her mother with her exercises, a pang twisting in her chest. Rose was laughing, a genuine, unrestrained sound Eleanor hadn't heard in months. Leo, bless his heart, was blushing furiously, but his eyes held a warmth Eleanor hadn't noticed before, a genuine affection for her mother. She'd been so focused on Rose's physical well-being, on the endless stream of doctors and medications, that she'd completely neglected her emotional needs. Had she even asked her mother how she felt, truly felt, in all this time? The answer stung. No. She'd been too busy being the dutiful, controlling daughter, suffocating Rose with her concern. Later, she found Leo packing up his things, his movements quick and efficient. "Leo," she said, her voice softer than usual. He froze, his shoulders tensing. He probably expected another reprimand. I wanted to apologize." The words felt foreign on her tongue. "I was out of line. Accusing you of taking advantage. It was unfair." Leo's eyes widened. "Mrs. Davison, you don't have to." "No," she interrupted, holding up a hand. I do. I was wrong. Anne. I think I was jealous. He looked utterly bewildered. Eleanor sighed, running a hand through her impeccably styled hair, loosening a pin. Seeing how happy you make my mother. I haven't managed that in a long time. I've been so busy trying to fix her, I forgot to just be with her. The admission felt like a weight lifting. Thank you, Leo. For being kind. He swallowed, a nervous tic she was starting to recognize. It's no problem, Mrs. Davison. Nana Rose she's amazing. A small, genuine smile flickered across his face. And she tells the best stories. Eleanor managed a weak smile in return. Maybe, just maybe, there was hope for her yet. For them all. Ice cream and unconventional family. I think, Nana Rose declared, clapping her hands together, the sound surprisingly sharp in the suddenly quiet apartment, that we all need ice cream. Leo nearly choked on the lukewarm tea Mrs. Davison had begrudgingly made him. Ice cream, he squeaked, picturing the sticky mess and the potential for disaster. Mrs. Davison raised a skeptical eyebrow. Mother, are you sure that's wise? Doctor also said I should enjoy myself, Nana Rose interrupted, her voice firm. And frankly, Eleanor, a little sugar is exactly what this room needs to sweeten things up. Besides, she winked at Leo, I'm craving that chocolate fudge swirl you told me about. Leo's cheeks flushed. He had mentioned his favorite flavor, a weak point he'd revealed during one of their training sessions. The thought of sharing it, of laughing with them both, actually sounded nice. The ice cream parlor buzzed with the happy chaos of a summer evening. Nana Rose, with Leo's help, ordered a towering sundae, complete with whipped cream and a cherry on top. Mrs. Davison, surprisingly, opted for a simple scoop of strawberry. Leo, emboldened by Nana Rose's cheerfulness, chose the chocolate fudge swirl. As they ate, perched on brightly colored metal chairs, a strange thing happened. Laughter erupted. Nana Rose regaled them with stories of her youth, tales of daring escapades and disastrous dates. Even Mrs. Davison cracked a smile, a genuine, unguarded expression that transformed her face. Leo found himself joining in, sharing anecdotes about his own awkward teenage years. The ice cream, melting down their hands, became a sticky symbol of their shared experience, a sweet and slightly absurd bond. Back at the apartment, a new routine began to take shape. The training continued, but the atmosphere shifted. Mrs. Davison, initially a silent observer, started to participate. She'd offer corrections, demonstrate modifications, and even, occasionally, crack a joke. Leo found himself teaching them both, a strange but comforting dynamic forming. Nana Rose's apartment, once a place of nervous tension, began to feel like a home, and the two women, in their own unique ways, felt like something akin to family. It was unconventional, messy, and undeniably sweet, like a sundae shared on a warm summer night.